CYC is a free channel, presents the Word of God for everyone. Your support will help us to continue the mission. Visit our website, cycnow.com. Even $1 will make a difference.
Hello and welcome to your program called HyperLink, where we address the youth on many topics concerning them and their parents. In our previous episode, we discussed the issue of teen discipline. Today, we will answer questions relating to criticizing. But first, as we have been doing in our previous episodes, let's go and see the opinions of the youth and their parents on this topic.
If they're definitely criticizing you to be constructive, to make you a better person, of course you should keep them. It may be harsh, but that's their goal, is to make a better person out of you, to make a better Christian out of you, and ultimately to make a better friend out of you.
Have you ever wondered how one word can change the world? How one word can cause wars to break out? Or how one word can change the life of a person? Criticism can do this. The Lord said, "Judge not, that you be not judged. For with what judgment you judge, you will be judged. And with the measure you use, it will be measured back to you." Now let's go and answer the first question.
How do people find out you've been criticizing them?
We are nearly all guilty of criticizing, but we rarely think of the consequences. For instance, let's take a look at what happens in this situation. A group of friends and acquaintances were talking after a girls' night out. One of them said, "My boss is such a cheapskate. He pays me a pittance and watches me like a hawk because he seems to expect me to steal everything. I have no respect for the creep and couldn't care less if someone rips him off." "Where do you work?" Linda asked. "At Lorenzo's," she replied. There was a short silence, during which Linda looked at Sue. "Really?" said Sue. "My husband runs Lorenzo's." Oops. I'm not sure if she kept her job when news got back to her boss, but we all learned a valuable lesson from this. It doesn't pay to criticize if you do not know the background of the people you are complaining to. I have seen this kind of thing over and over. People who should know better will criticize some racial group without the slightest thought that the people from that race are among those listening. Or someone at work will criticize another member of staff with no thought that person they are criticizing is within hearing distance. Or people will criticize other indiscreetly or with no care about who is listening. Remember the saying, "The walls have ears." So what you say in a closed room about someone will eventually get to them. There are three main reasons that people find out about secret criticism. 1. Too many people will tell the person criticized what you said because they are loyal or want to win their favor. 2. Too many people are troublemakers and make it their goal in life to stir up trouble where they can. 3. The 6 degrees of separation principle kicks in. 6 degrees of separation is a theory that anyone can be connected to any other person on the planet through a chain of acquaintances that has no more than 6 steps. This is not to say that criticism doesn't have its place at the right time. Wrongdoing needs to be criticized, such as sexting, surfing, and cyberbullying. And constructive criticism, when done in the right spirit, has helped generations of athletes, orators, or others who want to know how to improve their skills. Unwanted and unnecessary criticism is different. Someone will know the person you are criticizing. They will have family, friends, and acquaintances that are likely to be lurking near you. And they will tell that person about your criticism, either because they are loyal or because they enjoy seeing people struggle. So just avoid criticism and do not criticize anyone in front of anyone again. Let's move on to the next question.
What does the Bible say about criticism?
It not only encourages us to realize that we all have faults, but if we spend even a moment thinking about it before we criticize someone, it may save us from getting into a whole lot of embarrassing trouble. Give yourself some time and read this chapter 7. Remember, criticizing will just cause a lot of problems for you that you don't want. Never let any opportunity pass to say a kind and encouraging word to or about someone. Praise good work regardless of who did it. If criticism is needed, criticize helpfully, never spitefully. Let's go on to the next question.
I have friends who criticize me in front of others. Should I continue being their friends or should I leave them?
Good question. Firstly, you must differentiate between a negative criticism from a constructive criticism. St. Paul says in Romans 15:14, you are filled with all knowledge and able also to admonish one another. Real friends care enough to correct us and help us grow rather than remain silent about our faults. Don't respond, I thought you were my friend, when receiving constructive criticism. That is exactly the reason why a real friend gives it. But if you have bad friends who continually criticize you in a negative way, then this is a warning sign from God to leave this person and move on. The main reason that God will start to take out the friends in your life that He does not want you to have is because some of these people may be negative influences in your life. They may not be open to growing and maturing in the Lord like you will be. And all they do is try and hold you back when you start your own spiritual journey and grow in the Lord. They will start criticizing you and making fun of you, and all they will end up doing is stunting your growth in the Lord. So avoid them completely. Let's go to our next question.
My parents always criticize me in everything I do. How can my parents realize that this is hurting me?
When a youth is constantly bombarded by negative criticism by his parent, he will begin to internalize the words and believe them, whether they are true or not. Picking faults and criticizing them reveals our dishonor and disrespect for them. This will affect a youth in these 5 ways. 1, he will have a negative view of himself. 2, he will have poor self-respect and poor respect for others. 3, he will feel insecure about his abilities. 4, he will feel powerless, unable to help himself and others. 5, he will have a lower sense of self-worth. These feelings of self-doubt and insecurity will cause a youth to do the following things. He will withdraw and be less likely to communicate with the parent. He will lie and not listen as a defense against the negative criticism. He will become argumentative. He will manipulate others and events so that he does not have to take the blame. So you can see why avoiding negative criticism is important if parents want to effectively communicate with their child. Sometimes parents are good at criticizing young people for the clothes they wear, but don't help find the solutions. They need to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. Is it hard to find stylish clothes that are modest? Try and help by going out clothes shopping with your child and help them choose the more stylish and modern clothes. Let's move on to the next question.
Can you please explain to me the difference between disapproving remarks and criticism in discipline? Thanks.
Let's start by saying that disapproval of the actions a youth did that caused you to discipline him is not negative criticism. Parents can check to see if their disapproving remarks are a constructive and responsible means of discipline by asking themselves these questions. Did I disapprove of my child's self, or did I disapprove of the action my child took? Youth need to know that you love them unconditionally, even when their actions make you upset. If you are using disapproving remarks against their actions, then you are not using negative criticism. Did I give constructive feedback, explaining why the action was wrong and what could be done the next time? When you explain why you are correcting your teens by using examples of their action, you are not using negative criticism. Did I ask my son or daughter what he or she could do differently the next time? When you problem solve with your child, you are not using negative criticism. You are looking for the answer together so that next time your teen can do so independently. Did I use hurtful words? Hurtful words have no place in discipline. This is negative criticism. Let's go and see what our early church fathers say about this topic. Even our early church fathers were criticized for their works. For instance, the Apocalypse of John. Some before us have set aside and rejected the book altogether, criticizing it chapter by chapter and pronouncing it without sense or argument, and maintaining that the title is fraudulent. For they say that it is not the work of John, nor is it a revelation, because it is covered thickly and densely by a veil of obscurity. Then there is constructive criticism as the one St. Mark said to the pagans. St. Mark himself was harsh in his criticism to the pagans. This increased their rage. The people together with authority moved swiftly against St. Mark. Abba Isaiah of Eleskit on useful teachings for those who wish to dwell together in peace, he says, if you move to a place and feel it does not suit monastic life, do not criticize it. If the situation does not change, move to another place and watch your tongue, lest you judge others, for this will be death for you. Let's move on to the story of today. In order for us not to criticize, we should go back and become as simple and naive as children who do not know or understand how to criticize. Children learn what they live. If children live with criticism, they learn to condemn. If children live with hostility, they learn to fight. If children live with fear, they learn to be apprehensive. If children live with pity, they learn to feel sorry for themselves. If children live with ridicule, they learn to be shy. If children live with jealousy, they learn what the envy is. If children live with shame, they learn to feel guilty. If children live with tolerance, they learn to be patient. If children live with encouragement, they learn to be confident. If children live with praise, they learn to appreciate. If children live with approval, they learn to like themselves. If children live with acceptance, they learn to find love in the world. If children live with recognition, they learn to have a goal. If children live with sharing, they learn to be generous. If children live with honesty and fairness, they learn what truth and justice are. If children live with security, they learn to have faith in themselves and in those around them. If children live with friendliness, they learn that the world is a nice place in which to live. If children live with serenity, they learn to have peace of mind. With what are your children living? So this concludes our episode for today on criticizing. I hope you benefited from this topic and that it will help our teenagers and their parents to think twice before criticizing each other or people around them. So, see you in our next episode where we will discuss the issue on lying. Meet us next week and don't forget to tell your friends to join you.